Hey everyone. Little technical difficulties. Internet crashed all of a sudden. But we are going to start our second podcast for today. Just give me a sec. Uh, okay. Screen. Uh, that was Nosh. Okay. Oh boy. Because these podcasts are like so tight and back to back, 5 minutes is making a lot of difference right now. So I apologize. My internet just died for whatever reason. Okay. Where you at? I don't see you. Where are you at? Where you at? Meet. Since you're here, where are you? Mm, Don't see you. You join again. So, so, boy, I'm trying to debug what's going on with the app, why it's not like signing nobody up. And of course, my Claude is expired. Claude would have figured this out a long time ago because it just has all my context. Okay, it says you're asking to join. Are we on the same thing, bro? Like, where to be found? Am I tripping? One uncontrolled user VL. What the fuck? What link are you using? Is that you? What link are you using? Is that the same one? No, it's a different one. It's a different one. Okay. Why is yours different? Text me that. Or I'll text you this. Use this one instead. Just this one instead. All right. That should solve that. I don't get access to my cloud until like 1:40 to figure out what's going on with this login issue. Like, it's been working all week, and I haven't touched it on purpose. Why is it not working? Oh, yes, there you go. How's it going, Jeremy? Can you hear me? Oh, I'm all good. I can totally hear you. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Let me just share with the audience. Yeah, there's totally people watching this right now. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Welcome, Jeremy Fortaz. Welcome to AI Crypto Expo Content Creator Day or Creator Economy Day. And I wanted to bring you in because you are uh, one of the most creative people I know. And I know that the creator economy is very central to who you are. And what what we're facing right now with AI is that pretty much anyone can copy any business, right? So it seems like the Mr. Beast way is the way to go, where you build the audience and then you have the audience uh, interact with you based on the trust that you've built with the audience. How do you respond? Hmm. Mm. No, I totally agree. And I just noticed I have this habit of just diving in without giving you an opportunity to introduce yourself. So love for you to introduce yourself. Who are you? What's your mission? You know, yeah, what that is. Mhm. Mhm. Very. Amazing. So, you mentioned storytelling. How important is storytelling to building your brand? And for people who aren't like super well versed in content creator space, like what even is storytelling? Mhm. All right. So so I get it. You wanna if I can just sum up what you said, you wanna connect with your audience in a powerful way that is not like something that they easily forget, right? How does that transfer into building a brand around, let's say, your content or just however you're presenting yourself online? Give me all 3. Give us all 3. Mm, mhm. Awesome. Now let's, no, it makes a lot of sense. You're very clear and, visual. Every time you talk, it's like I can, visualize it in my mind's eye, so you're doing a great job. But on that, um, I think, I think a subject matter that is concerning to not just content creators, but to literally everyone is, AI and its impact on just everything, right? Like jobs, economy, like creativity, school, institutions, governance, like it seems like we've been granted, the fire of Prometheus, and now we can just do anything, and the infrastructure is not built to withstand that, right? I don't know if you agree with that framing. What do you think? No, well, what I'm what I'm talking about is that let's say a company like Adobe. It took years to build. It's been building itself for about 30 years, let's say. Now I can just prompt Claude, make me a Photoshop copy, and in an hour to 3 hours, like I have a perfectly working Photoshop copy, and I don't need to pay Adobe a subscription fee anymore. So, because of this power that we have, it's affecting like the economy. Like it's it's like why would I pay you for something I can get done for free? Or not even for free, but for $20, which is like the price of a sandwich nowadays, right? So it's like, what's the incentive model for like these companies to hire more people if their product is just going to get ripped off? And I know what my incentive model is. My incentive model is to rip off what's already working, right? But what's that audience's incentive model to use what I've ripped off, right? Unless I build some sort of around them. Brand and trust around, my audience. Or yeah. No, 100%. I totally agree with that. And so in a world where, pretty much AI is the great equalizer. If you have a good understanding of how it works, how the models work and stuff like that. So in a world where AI is the great equalizer, um, would branding would branding be the great differentiator, right? Because if let's say would branding be a differentiator, right? Um, or or what would be the different components of like separation from the competition in a world where all things are equal, right? Mm. No, 1000% answers my question. Sorry, I just took off my camera because my internet sucks. So I want you to come in a lot better because, like, right now, the internet's bringing you in glitchy. So I turned off my camera. Um, anyway, so no, I totally agree with that, man. And like, let's say, like, what do you think the the future of work is, right? And, just to give you a little bit more context on this question, it's like, unless you are like a hyper specialist, like let's say you're someone who's been working on like building AI systems for the last, I don't know, 50 years, or someone who has such a deep domain understanding on a topic, unless you're a hyper specialist, it seems like the jobs out there for you are gonna be relatively non-existent, right? So, I'm curious, like, how do you see, like, the future of work? We talked about general general standpoint, because like, after, this AI hype, there's gonna be a huge robot hype, so robots are gonna start taking, like, service jobs, right? So yeah, I know, right? Like, and the Zooks are, like, backing up. No, very, very cool. And what's funny is that throughout the course of this week, I've been talking to engineers who are on the frontier of AI, some people who are like, you know, insiders of like Anthropic, OpenAI, and various frontier labs, and they're pretty much saying the same thing. That it really gives us an opportunity to use these tools to kind of like democratize. I'm trying to put into words, but to create on a high level, right? To really use these tools to open greater opportunities for all of us, as opposed to just isolating ourselves. Yeah, I kind of lost myself there. No, 100%, 100%. Um, yeah, man. So so now that like, what are some opportunities you're seeing in the creator economy? How about that? What are some opportunities that you're seeing in the creator economy, from your perspective? No. Very cool. Well, with that, we're gonna bring this podcast to an end. But before we go, I would definitely want you to kind of promote yourself. Like, what are you up to? We have a lot of, I'll say, builders, investors, operators in this community. So please, like yourself, see how we can get involved with what you're involved in. Awesome. Awesome, man. Yeah, just yep. I'll make those connections. That's what I do. Oh, well, it's nice, nice. Awesome. Oh, bro, you are not rambling. You are one of the most eloquent, well-spoken people I know, and just your ability to communicate very complex topics in a very like digestible way is greatly appreciated. So thank you so much. Awesome. All right. We'll keep in touch. All right. Talk soon. All right. Awesome. All right. Oh, so that's another one. Let's do the last one for the day. Um, Anu, who is a AI specialist. I don't know exactly which one, but we'll find out right now. This is my internet. Why is it so slow? You have extensions installed. Do I? Do I? Um, okay. So I thought if I invited someone, they should automatically come in. Awesome. Hey, Anu, how are you doing? I am doing good as well. Thank you for joining us here at AI Crypto Expo, where we try to highlight the builders who are building at the frontier. So thank you so much for joining us. How's your day? Nice. What part of California? Uh, Here in the Bay or somewhere else? Okay, sounds good. Are you like meeting with some government officials or talking about AI? Nice, amazing. All right, awesome. Yeah, so definitely want to talk about just should, what I guess topic should we focus on? What topic area should we focus on? Should we focus on governance? Should we focus on like innovation? What's at the forefront? Should we focus on social impact? What direction do you want to go with this conversation? Okay. Nice. Let's start off with your book. We've been hosting multiple authors throughout the week. So I'm always interested in when someone has written a book because then you've like generated this wealth of knowledge that you've shared over hundreds of pages, I would assume, right? So let's talk about your book. What's it about? Very interesting. So that's interesting because a lot of the different experts we've been talking to this week, they also believe the future is bright. They also believe that AI is disruptive, but they also believe that job job displacement is inevitable. And I do want to get your take on that because a lot of anxiety in this world right now revolves around, you know, am I to have a job? And also people are kind of putting themselves into two categories like generalists and specialists. And the specialists, like their future looks bleak because it seems like AI can just do everything that they are capable of. What do you think? So on that basis, right? Lawyers they have to pass the LSAT, right, to get their law degree, and they have to be approved by the bar and enter this process. So isn't there, like, some sort of legal, governmental, societal limitation to AI taking the jobs of lawyers? Because, although, let's say, AI could probably pass the LSAT, they're still not licensed to practice law. So, uh, how do you feel about that? Like, is there a path forward for AI? 'Cause yeah, in theory, you just dump all the information about local ordinances and jurisdictions into a large language model, and then it could just regurgitate it. But does that mean that it is, like, licensed to represent you in a court of law? Yeah. And my question doesn't just like stop at lawyers. Like we're also seeing AI disruption in the medical field. Um, there's AI disruption, all these fields that have been long established as essential components to a well-running society. But now that like, different different large language models are starting to disrupt those fields. It's like, how do you see society kind of juggling this? Because uh, AI is a tool at the end of the day, and the tool is being used by people to kind of like make their lives a little bit easier. But at the same time, it's having structural changes, and is our social structure set up to withstand so much changes like all at once? Is my question. So, as someone who advise those decision makers, uh, what kind of framework do you use? Because I'm sure the decision makers have different levels of understanding. Like I know, and she's pretty advanced in her understanding of technology. But there are other like lawmakers and decision makers who are not up to par on as far as her understanding and embracement of technology. So, what framework do you use that kind of communicates across the board to these various decision makers? Yeah, no, absolutely. Free for all would be bad. But I kind of feel like it's inevitable, right? Like it's like for example, this week we hosted a hackathon and in a span of 3 days, I created this super advanced um game that runs in the browser and then it within 3 hours we created like a mixture of experts model that actually plays the game and runs the game, so and controls all the enemies and everything. So, like, that took me 3 days. Like, what's stopping a bad actor from building, like, this freaking super weapon in no time? Like, right? Like, it seems like we're going into this wild west of AI, and, you know, there's no real, like, way to predict what's next. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, I'm not saying it's a good thing, I'm just saying, like, that seems to be the direction that we're going to. Um, do you agree with that assessment or no? No, that's fair. And if I'm asking you like these crazy questions, I apologize. Yeah, that's super fair. But on the positive side, what are some positive trends that you're seeing, both on the regulation side and on the innovation side? What are some of the positive trends that you're seeing? Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned what you're doing falsy, because we're speaking Panache, she's a lady out of Zimbabwe, and she's working on a way to centralize authority. I mean, not authority, identity, on the blockchain. Because in Africa, like I think there's 54 countries, and there's no way for you to like transfer your authority between countries, right? So, what your credit score is in Zimbabwe, like you go to South Africa, you start all the way over at zero, right? So, what she's doing is she's working on a decentralized way, kind of holds your identity and makes it transferable between these countries. So, I think that's pretty interesting. Does Vaulty like do you guys plan on expanding to Africa, or discovering if your solution is applicable over there? as you should. Like, don't let me distract you. um, so let's talk more about like identity and how important identity is in this current age of AI, where you can be deep faked and um someone can clone your voice, clone your image, and maybe you know, use that fake version to extract wealth from people who care about you, like holding a fake you for ransom, right? How are you thinking about stuff like that? Oh, they've done that before. Yeah. Mhm. Oh, very cool. Very cool. And so also on the identity front, uh AI agents are now being used to represent you online, right? So let's think about, like, let's say we have an AI agent or multiple AI agents. They're all responsible for different things regarding your life, like sending emails, responding to social media inquiries, um, whatever, you name it, right? How, like, how do we kind of how do we kind of align these agents um with the true identity of who we are, so we can actually feel like they're representing us, as opposed to just like now generalized output. Does that question make sense or no? Mhm. Mm. Very interesting. And, like, do you like, let's say Vaulty, right? Let's say, you have access to all of my information. Like, how do you view, like, data? Like, how do you view data? Because in my opinion, a lot of people get mad that, big tech is stealing their data, but, I kinda like that when I go to Instagram, they know what I wanna buy, right? I kinda like that, you know? I kinda like that. I like that when I use ChatGPT, they have, like, such a deep understanding of who I am that when I ask it a question, it doesn't give me, like, stuff that doesn't relate to me. It relates to me exactly. So, I am curious, how do you view, like, the use of personalized data in these AI systems? It does. Very true. Yeah, very Yeah. So I think a software solution would probably be to maybe have some sort of decentralized or maybe a centralized system that opts in to different things, but like once it opts out, it takes its data with you. Like so for example, like if I was gonna use Instagram, I can opt my data into Instagram while I'm using it, but that data never goes to like Facebook servers or anything like that. And then, you know, the AIs that Facebook use can like recommend whatever ads they need to recommend to me. But once I log out, that my data comes with me. It, it if yeah. So also I'm curious how you think about decentralized systems versus, you know, centralized systems. You know, what are some of the pros and cons of being a decentralized system as opposed to a centralized system, and what kind of system is faulty? So on the blockchain angle, um, I do wanna kind of figure out the mechanics, because like I can see this as extremely beneficial as a interoperable system, which it can be enabled by blockchain. And then also because you're handling such sensitive data and it's distributed on the blockchain, like does and I don't know, but does it mean that everyone has access to it? Like it's very sensitive. I don't want like Joe Schmo down the street, like knowing like whatever my medical history is. So that's like addressing that. Also addressing the interoperability. Uh Earlier we were talking about a system where we can kind of lend our data to different applications and then withdraw it when we're no longer using those applications. Um, how are you thinking about interoperability? Like where just your data can be, you know, permissioned amongst unique apps, like, but without them like actually owning your data. You own your data through your service, but you kind of just lend your data to other services. I don't even know if this is like on your roadmap. So if it's not, I apologize. Hmm. Very cool. So do you have any kind of government partnerships or any sort of like, let's say, geographical test case that because obviously this seems like a very relevant technology to government services. Um so I'm kind of curious how receptive the people you're talking to are to this technology. I am curious about like application of Balsi. Like, so if all my data is stored in a centralized location and I can just permission access to whoever is necessary, like some applying for a mortgage, like, do they even need to even look at the documents? Like, can't everything just be validated on Volcy and the centralized authority, let's say the mortgage broker or whatever, can just like say, "Hey, does Dwayne qualify for a mortgage?" And then maybe you have an AI or something like that just that looks through all my documents and like say yes or no. They don't even have to look at the paperwork itself. Like, is that a possible application? Oh, very cool. Because like if that's the case, it kind of seems like, you know, you guys are kind of like a reputation management system in a way. Like I don't know if that's exactly how you would describe yourself, but like a credit score type of thing. Yeah. It's like if that's the case, you have all my data centralized. Probably have all my history centralized. It kind of serves as a better version of a credit score. 'Cause like, the AI, it already has all my data, all my transactions and everything, and, if you're applying for a loan or applying for anything, it can instantly check your history and, decide on the spot whether or not you're qualified or not, right? So that's pretty interesting. Amazing, amazing. All right. Well, with that, Anu, I just want to thank you for joining us. Before you go, I would love for you to kind of promote yourself, like who you are, what's your mission. Our community is filled with builders, developers, investors, and various operators who are totally open to collaborating. So, yeah, please take it from there. Awesome. Thank you so much, Anu, for joining us at AI Crypto Expo, and you have a great rest of your day. All right. Bye-bye. All right. That was our third conversation in 3 hours. All right. Usually I'm like super tired after like 3 conversations in a row. I'm not today for whatever reason. So I'm just gonna keep working on our website, working on this this mixture of experts model that we're making a lot of progress on. So let's share our screen. Okay. All right. Let's see. So did 2 things just now. So I had Codex validate that the mixture of extras model is actually running the video game. So at first it wasn't, but now it is. So I'm curious to see how it plays now. So let's see. Let's see. I wonder if it controls the enemies better. Da-da-da-da. So I got my post going. I got 60 tension. So they will attack me, but not crazy. Um, then we did this thing where we can build outposts for both the humans and all right, are you gonna attack me? All right, he's just chilling. He's just chilling, just going about his day. What about you? Are you gonna attack me? No, yeah, just chilling, going about your day. Cool, cool, cool. Cool, cool, cool. So we did this thing where like every 5 to 7 minutes, a diplomacy prompt comes up to reduce tension with the Zegnovans, but that was taking forever to reduce the tension, and then we still have to cut down trees and stuff. So that's constantly increasing the tension. So we introduced a new system um, right here. So in build mode, you can both build for the colony and for the Zegnovans, right? So we can build field clinic, watershed, Peace Beacon, Sacred Grove Nursery. So although it builds, we can build for them, and that reduces tension. It it's like a trade off because we have to use our resources to build for them, right? So this is resources that we could be using for ourselves. Um, but it is a faster way to reduce tension. All right, get my solar panels back up. All right, man. You guys should not be attacking my solar panels because we're not at war at the moment. Mm, 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 mm. All right, that's a villager. Is he chilling? All right, cool, cool, cool. So villagers are usually peaceful. They're not going to attack you. Like Juggernaut over there, I'm surprised he's not attacking me. Our our thing is at 64, so it's not like we're at war or anything, but it is it is it is interesting. But anyway, so, all right. Car. All right. Just chilling right now. You know, it is kind of crazy because like we can totally imagine a world where if like let's say I added the fusion model to this thing and it could be hyper realistic because I think there's technology out there to like make this world like super hyper realistic. So that'll be thing. I'm actually curious about that. Let me see if I can do that. Let me see. Should I add it? Yeah, I'm not asking. Cloud dumb expensive, bro. I don't I don't ever wanna use Claude. Unless it's, like, super important. I don't wanna use Claude. It's like 4 prompts and you're out of credit. Like, damn, bro. Alright, let me ask. Uh, this is not necessarily priority, but what would be the process of adding a diffusion model to planet Zek Nova to generate ultra realistic graphics, real time graphics? Just curious. Mm, I told it it's not important. Let's see. And this is the status of our Sentinel grid. So live telemetry is integrated, adapter v2 integrated and tested, web workers integrated, puck search is running in browser, rank recommendation working, projected action sequence working, browser error handling working, test suite passing, clones semantic parity still pending. So clone semantic parity is when AlphaGo clones the whole game and kind of plays multiple variations of it or plays more versions on it, like trains itself on it pretty much. So that's interesting. Um, Mixture of extra experts engine values still unvalidated. Uniform prime comparison pending. Realsec Nova outcomes pending. Productivity authority not yet earned. So so our mixture of experts model is no longer a prototype that appears capable of connecting Zegnova. Sentinel is running live strategic searches against real Zegnova colony state in the browser, which is dope. All right, let's figure out what's the thing. The diffusion model could give Zegnova an AI powered visual layer that turns existing 3JS web GPU scene into something resembling cinematic photorealistic footage. The important architectural decision will keep Zegnova's existing 3D engine responsible for the real world physics, buildings, enemies, missions, and player movement. Let the fusion enhance only what the player sees. Okay. I'm curious about like what the performance trade-offs would be, what the system will look like. Nova game state, 3JS renders a normal frame, additional control images are generated, depth objects, surfaces, diffusion model transforms the frame, photorealistic, practical products, and what diffusion controls. The safest first implementation would be optional visual mode affecting terrain, appearance, skies, atmospheres. I just like, what's the bottom line performance? Bottom line performance. Because it's already like running a whole like mixture of expert system in the browser. Like I don't, it's not like I'm running it natively. So what's the bottom performance trade-offs for running this diffusion model in browser? Tomorrow's near-term goal is not to have diffusion replaced back then, so it's to let the existing deterministic Zegnova world provide the structure while diffusion supplies a cinematic layer of realism on top. Improve conventional lighting, materials, use diffusion to generate product production quality assets, build one server side neural rendering proof of concept, train it on to two. Okay. So right now we have we have about what, six of experts models working together, and not all of them are useful. Like, it outlines it right here, which ones are useful and which one are not. What codex is that? What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I got myself some Gatorade.
You got some Gatorade?
Can you help me?
Sure. What you need help with? All right. So this is the current status. Want me to open it? No, I'm not podcasting right now.
Oh,
Yeah, but I am still live. Just
Dad,
working on the hackathon project.
Dada, are you working?
Yeah,
Are
I was
you?
working.
Well, are you find someone?
No, I'm not on the call.
We're recording you. Well, not recording.
All right. So, this is status of our 6 mixture of experts model that I call Sentinels because I like X-Men. Sentinel Prime is our champion. It's based on AlphaGo. It's working and validating as search optimizer. It is the current trusted decision engine, but it's useful depends on the quality of its value function. Vanguard has been rejected. Vanguard is supposed to come up with strategies for the enemies to look, but it's not working well with Prime. And Prime is like main character, so we got to figure out how to Vanguard. So failed catastrophically across most time. It remains only as a diagnostic specimen and comparison baseline. Oracle is supposed to like help predict the future actions of the player to make the gameplay more interesting. So it's promising but unproven. Oracle may help understand whether resources are improving or deteriorating over time. However, the next experiment will first test whether a simple resource runway calculation solves the problem without inquiring a more sophisticated temporal expert. Nexus, not yet measurable or for gameplay value. I think Nexus, just by definition of the word, connects all the different models together. And then, so the current environment contains dependency graphs, but those dependencies do not yet cause real gameplay consequences. Nexus must wait until no explosives meaningful, breakable, repairable, or reroutable infrastructure relationships. So the problem with Nexus is that it needs to be trained. And the problem I'm having is I don't have the infrastructure to train Nexus, right? Like, so it's hard to tell if it's working or not. Horizon, a candidate for long chain decisions. Horizon may help identify moments where important consequences are beyond Prime's normal search visibility, such as the recruit to housing sequences in the deadline scenarios. Arbiter, redefined, not yet active. Arbiter, I want to change it to router. I want to call it router because that's what it does, it's the router. Arbiter was originally expected to increase computation. When Prime appeared uncertain, testing showed that more computation is not always safer. So the future job now is predict whether spending more computation is likely to improve the real objective under the current value function. So based on the conversations I've been having this week with AI experts, um, you need a reasoning model, and they need to figure out a way to add memory. Those are the big decision makers: reasoning and memory. So my problem will be that, let's say I add a transformer, that'll be super heavy, right? It's a lot. It's a big thing. So I don't know if I want to do that. Cause like a well trained transformer, some like at least GPT-5, right? Otherwise, it's like, what's the point? But also, should I even do that, right? Should I even add that? I mean, it'll be cool. Like I'll be able to talk to the villagers and stuff. I could just walk up to them and talk to them. Then we could probably create gameplay scenarios where they can give us missions and stuff, which also contributes to reducing the tension. So I think the point that I'm trying to do is trying to make a super dynamic game. Like I don't want it to be pre-programmed. I want it to be like kind of like lived in game type of thing. Like it has rules that it has to follow. Like the villagers, no, if the tension gets too high, then all the whole planet turns against you. And the lower the tension, the more collaborative the the um the in game sprites are. Uh, so at the current status of our mixture of experts is Sentinel has a working brain and a strong laboratory, can now think about the real Zeknova world, but we are still verifying that it sees the world accurately and values the right outcomes before players rely on its advice. Uh, dun, 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 dun. Okay, what did I ask? What's this? Entering integration status passed. Based on ACL software, path is operational end to end. What did I ask? The codex worker is not fully integrated and working. Okay, okay. All right. So it's fully integrated and working. Latest version. Matter of fact, if you guys want to test it out, bro, I'm just gonna upload it to GitHub right now. Git. And then this should have like the latest working Sentinel program. Git uh commits Sentinel is live. Sentinel grade is live. And then git push. Oh. All right, boom. So GitHub has the latest version of Sentinel Grid. Oh, and while I was like talking on my podcast, we figured out why no one could log in. It was like it took forever with OpenAI because they just don't have my context. And then I asked Claude, and it figured it out instantly, which is like annoying. So we're able to register, and then tomorrow I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try to use this again. Been trying to use this thing all week. Was just not production ready. It may or may not be production ready right now. Just skip for now. Skip for now. Finish setup. And could not stop. Please try again. Well, that doesn't help anybody. That doesn't help anybody. What the hell? Onboarded not complete. I know onboard is not complete, but I should be able to still use the user, right? I got like a trailing thing right here.
Interior. Garage. Door.
Uh, that doesn't help anybody. Bro, what's up with this trailing slide? I figured it out. Oh. Why is my internet so slow? All right, cool. Very minimum. You can create a new account. Now, you got to figure out why onboarding is not working. Uh, 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 Let's log in. Then can join AI Crypto Expo. Yeah, it's slow. What's going on? Do we pay our bill?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's super slow. What?
you know what?
Wi-Fi is dumb slow. It's like AOL dial-up slow. Like it's crazy. What's going on now? Yeah, it's crazy slow. Hey. Well, it wasn't like this earlier. It just like got like this all of a sudden.
If that's the case, it means everybody's on the same network at the same time.
Well, we're always on the same network at the same time.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's crazy slow. It's on dude. And that's crazy slow.
Serious.
That's
Shit, bro. Good. Sorry, I'm lying.
that's crazy. Is this working? Should be working. Yeah, my internet's garbage. Yeah, it's garbage right now. Yeah. Oh, we have to troubleshoot it. Anyway. Anyway. On the way. All right. All right. So for Planet Executive today, browser local diffusion is a useful experiment. Limited hardware tier, server side diffusion, best route to reliable, ultra realistic output, conventional web GPU plus AI created asset, best overall game performance route, hybrid option, neural mode, best long term productive strategy. Browser diffusion saves cloud costs and keeps processing local, but you pay with frame rates, model download size, heat, memory pressure, and consistent device support, and reduce visual stability for your current Intel Mac. It's not Intel. It's the new one. It's I forgot what it's called. It's like it's the Mac chips. It is not a viable local real-time solution using GPU server. Or treat the computer as the options in the cloud primary renderer. That's not important. I don't really like to see if an experimental photorealistic render layer available in supported hardware. Okay, good. First uses photo mode, mission introductions, village flyovers, slow exploration cutscenes. Can directly at the player's level. Right. All right. All right. Help me then how adding a model dedicated some memory and another model dedicated to reasoning and improve gameplay. All right. So we recently discovered that Sentinel Grid is running is running the game. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Both fixed and verified. 9 checks. Green. Clone step. Steady at C1. Officer bonus saturation right. Menu so it saturates any rank above captain to +1. There shouldn't be any ranks above captain. Fold in distinct multipliers into one value. The clamp I added is on a floor. The emitted feature stays inside. It's declared hand, so an unexpected 1.5 multiplier can't push the normalized feature past 1.0. Corrupt neighboring encodings verified by FeedNet 1.5 and confirming max feature magnitude held at exactly 1.00, but the clamp is guard, not a solution. And the comment says if Secnova actually ships officers ranks or bonuses beyond 1.1, the spec band must widen. Otherwise, lieutenant and admiral become indistinguishable to search. Bro, there's no admiral. Like, what are you talking about? There's no admiral, which is our ones. Lion, bug, wearing a different hat. That's a question for you. Is Captain 1.1 generally the ceiling, or are there higher ranks? All right. Yes, as far as that's concerned, C1 Captain is the highest rank. So what they're talking about is as you accomplish the missions, like by the time you accomplish mission 4, you upgrade into a lieutenant, and then your mech becomes more powerful. And when you accomplish mission 8, you become a captain, and then your mech, like you get like an actual Gundam mech, pretty much. So that's what it's talking about. Mm. But there's nothing beyond that at the moment. It's the highest rank. C2. Boat bridge consistency. We don't have any boats. Do we have boats? The real asymmetry you caught. I credited a boat target at step, but left the encoding empty boat web light bottle. Empty bridge stay dark even though C2. Do we have a boat?
Oh my god. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. All chat.
No, a boat target lights empty bridge 2, so the search sees the crossing objective regardless of which alias the mission uses. Do we have a boat? I want, I want, I want to play a boat. I want a boat. Let's see. Do we have a boat? We got survey, company, comply bridge, canopy bridge, defense beacon, civic hall, creator commons, AI research lab, habitat, waterworks, solar grid. Where's the boat? We don't have a boat. Unless we do. The bridge needs to be on the top of the landscape. All right. And then habitat. So you need a direct solar connection within 30 meters. Okay.
Mom, there's a fly.
There's a solar connection. You need a direct waterworks connection within 26 meters.
Okay. I'm using it everywhere like your dad is.
The slope, water level, biomonitory, or nearby rock prevents construction here. Okay, like where the fuck do you? Where can I construct? I don't know where to construct, bro. It's like There is no place to construct the habitats. Do not consider slope. Otherwise, do not consider slope. What do you need? You need a direct water source. The water source is right here. You all got it.
Love you, Dad.
I love you too.
Want some Gatorade?
Do have some Gatorade. Can you get me some ice? Give me a glass with some ice, please. Yeah. Oh,
Dad is cooking tonight.
yeah. Do you have any ground beef? Can you take it out?
I had always done it on the ground week because, somebody don't really do that.
Can you take it out? All right. Iron data, rockfall, and electrical storms. Okay. Oh, and we have a whole weather system in place, which is crazy. What's up with Juggernaut, bro? That's just stuck.
Dad, what do you need ice for?
Yes, Gatorade is cold. Thank you.
No way is this. Oh.
Yeah.
I think that it looks like Powerade. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Daddy. Dad, you have to put all of them.
No.
You have to put some left.
Don't see folks.
Wait, my turn to use the iPad. We also have Portuguese sausage. Wait, my turn to use the iPad.
The deeper point under C3 is where it's stating one's boat and bridge are two names for one buildable. So treating them as aliases everywhere, legality, credit, including it's a coherent model. If Zach Nova ever makes them mechanically distinguishable that crosses water where a bridge can't, that's genuine second action and version bomb, not an alias. Flag for use in C1. That presents at V2 CT feature 106. Enriched all conformance screening, including two robustness checks to R2 integration snippets from the previous turn are unchanged and still needed on the game bundle side. Two game design confirmations I need before the binding gets frozen into its manifest. Both of yours, neither is guessable from the code. Is Captain's 1.1 the maximum officer bonus? No. At the moment, no high ranks exist. The moment, no higher ranks exist. Our boat and bridge one crossing capability. Do we have a boat? I don't see a boat in the game. Bridges help to cross waterway. Ways, boats travel up and down Ugh. Oh yeah, this is waste. All right. Think of them as two different crew members. The memory model as the ship's historian. It remembers what happens, what did what promises were made, and how the world changed. The reasoning model as a strategist. It uses the current situation plus relevant memories to decide what should happen next.
Okay, that's not true.
Separating them would make Nova feel less like a game that resets emotionally every few minutes and more like a persistent world that understands consequences. What the memory system would do. A dedicated memory system will record important events such as a player rescued or abandoned a village, a team negotiated with the Xenovans instead of attacking, a captain repeatedly ignored resource warning, a player prefers exploration over combat, a colony previously lost power during a raid, characters have a history of cooperation or conflict, a promise was made to deliver water, medicine, or protection. It would not need to remember every footstep or every frame. It would identify and store events that may matter later. For example, player protected desert village during a raid, meaning villagers' trust increased. The village considers a player reliable. Future requests for help are more likely to be accepted. Memory layer could then retrieve the event weeks later when the player returns. What the reasoning model would do, the reasoning model would receive current situation, relevant memories, current objectives, legal actions, safety in game roles, would then decide what response makes the most sense. For example, current situation. The player asks the desert village. So I don't feel like we need like Fable or something to be a reasoning model. Like we can do something super lightweight to be a reasoning model. What are lightweight options to be a reasoning model that can join the MOE architecture? Question mark. Let me find what responses make more sense. The memory system does not make the decision and provides the evidence. The reasoning system interprets that evidence. How this improves gameplay. NPCs would have continuity. NPCs could remember who helped them, who threatened them, who kept promises, who caused damages, repeatedly return. Instead of every conversation feeling isolated, relationships would evolve. A village leader might say, you kept them then standing when the Zeeks attacked. We have not forgotten. That sounds super interesting. Not gonna lie.
Oh, Mom, you don't have style? No. Why?
The line will come from actual game history, not a generic dialogue tree. Diplomacy will become meaningful. At the moment, diplomacy can easily become a number that rises or falls. But memory and reasoning, trust could be based on specific events.
Yeah.
Okay. I think.
That is incredible.
What's up? You all right?
You're recording.
I am.
Okay. I want some Gatorade.
I'm gonna drink some Gatorade. Okay. Enemies can learn from repeated behavior. Suppose a player always builds defenses near the river, uses the minigun during raids. the model could advisors. Alright. Before I ask this question, if I introduced a reasoning model, memory model, and diffusion model, what would be hierarchy? What would be the hierarchy in prime? What will be the hierarchy around prime? How will they work together? What the other be done? It are lightweight options to be a reasoning model that can join the mixture of experts architecture. Are there available memory models, or should
Where's your phone?
we create it from scratch?
One phone. Dad, what's the password?
The path is passed.
I don't know what. Oh. Yeah.
There you go. Or should we create a custom memory model to join the Sentinels?
Wow. Where is it?
Okay, memories, ground the history, reasoning, interprets that history. The game engine controls reality. Memory model meant to remember the player and the worlds. That's first implementation. Sentinel recommended memory, remember recommendations, their choices and outcomes. Factions and village relationship memory, remember promises, assistance, attacks, trades, and betrayals. Player behavior, track broad patterns such as builder, explorer, diplomat, or combat-focused behavior. Wait, there was.
Yay!
Seems interesting, man. Seems interesting. And what's the most interesting is that the Sentinel grid is game agnostic. Like, you pretty much create an adapter that speaks to the Sentinels, the Sentinel grid. So it doesn't even matter what game you're playing.
You know exactly.
Which is interesting.
Business to the next level.
Go over there.
That's the ass. Wow.
That's fine.
Consultants to decide 17 days later.
Define model hierarchy, switch that's one.
Careful with your fingers.
Right. Sentinel 5. That's
Whoa! Briefly, get me a full watch. It's example. Says we actually got it. And what other and videos have a reasonable. It's a lot of years.
All right. Finish set up. Tell me nothing stuff.
Wow, no,
Response. I get this response. I'm trying to complete onboarding. This response when I try to complete onboarding. That'd be all right.
website status. Newsletters and slots and
Should probably do this in a new chat, to be honest. So,
yeah. I was like, sad to see the newsletters. Yeah.
let's see what's going on. You adjust to in the rules. Bridges will use the surrounding bank, deck, elevation instead of the river surface, and the habitat placement will ignore rain slope while still rejecting water, rocks, and overlapping structure. Verify both in live build afterwards. Okay. Yeah, with this. Bottom line, not turn prime. Do not turn prime, the reasoning model, the memory model, and the fusion model into equal voters. The strongest architecture is hierarchical. Memory supplies evidence. The specialist sentinels analyze specific parts of the situation. The reasoning model critiques and connects their finding. Prime searches the future, legal future.
Let me tell you something.
What? What's up, buddy?
There's no movies.
There's no. Oh,
Only games.
let me connect it to your account.
Need the games. I need movies.
Movies.
I
What's
need
your
pee-pee.
movies?
I need pee-pee.
It's not. It's not. The reasoning model critiques and connects their finding. Prime searches the legal future. The game engine remains the final authority. Fusion model only changes what the world looks like. All right. Prime should remain at the center of strategic decision making because it can test actual legal actions against a deterministic Nova simulator. A language reasoning model may produce excellent ideas, but it cannot be allowed to invent resources, actions, buildings, or game rules. I agree. So, canonical state, event ledger. So is memory at the top now? Where's prime? Okay. In layman's terms, I need you to explain this to me. All right. So Sentinel Archive. That must be the memory model. Canonical state plus ladder. Why are there two options? I don't understand. Invocation and compute repping. And then this is memory. We use both at the same time. And then it speaks to Vanguard, Oracle, and Nexus. Then these speak to Horizon, memory retrieval. Is that archive? Then Prime, legal action, puck search. Then reasoning is last. Critique, causal synthesis, counterfactual explanations, machine checkable, finding only, prime confirmation research, hard legality validator, and then at the very end is diffusion. How the existing 6 sentinels will fit using the current 6 sentinel structure. Sentinel Prime is the strategic search authority. It answers of the legal actions available now, which produces the best simulated future. It should generate the initial candidate ranking and final recommendation. Vanguard remains the fast learn policy value candidate. Eventually, it may suggest promising actions before search, estimate state value quickly, reduce how much search prime needs. Vanguard V1 has not earned authority. Any replacement should remain in shadow mode until it approves prime at matched compute. Oracle analyzes change over time. Are reserves increasing or declining? How long until energy or water reaches danger? Is threat accelerating? Is the colony genuinely recovering? Oracle supplies temporal features to prime and the reasoner does not select the action itself. Nexus examines relationships and dependencies. Power supports water. Water supports habitats. A bridge connects to remote settlements. A damage generator affects several systems. A faction agrees, affects access to resources. Nexus becomes valuable once these relationships have actual consequences inside Technova. Horizon detects long decisions in the delayed consequences. Mine iron, build power, build water, build habitat, recruit population. Tells Prime that an important outcome may be outside of normal search depth. Arbiter should be the conductor, not the final judge. Decides which experts are relevant. The memory retrieval is necessary. Would invoke the reasoning model, whether more prime simulations are likely to help. How much latency and compute decisions deserve. Actually, arbiter should remain deterministic and rule-based. Alert about it comes later. After enough outcomes exist, adding a reasoning sentinel. A reasoning model should act as a strategic critic and a causal synthesizer, not a replacement for prime. A good name might be Sentinel Logos. Oh, that sounds cool. Sentinel Sage, Sentinel Council. What would I call it? This is like the mind. Mastermind. No. I don't know. I'll figure it out later. The reasoning model would receive a compact structural packet. It needs to be light. It needs to be very light. I don't want it to take forever. I don't even need to be smart like that. Just need to make basic, reasonable decisions. Outputs should return structural conclusions that then unrestricted commands. And you really falls below motorcycles. If we had a reasoning model, then the NPCs could like really become alive. And the gameplay would be insane. The reasoning model should not be permitted to say execute build powers. It identifies a concern or subgoal prime and runs the actual simulator to determine whether that concern changes the best legal action. This protects the program from a language model confidently inventing a plausible but false strategy. I put the reasoner after an initial prime search because you already learned that steering search with unvalidated priors can make prime worse. A safer sequence. Prime performs a neural baseline. The reasoner reviews Prime's top candidate, identifies overlooked risk assumptions or delayed consequences. Only machine checkable findings are converted into bounded features or constraints. Prime searches again. Action still comes from simulator backed search. The best small model will be Quen 3, the M.7. What's the latest Quen? What's the latest Quen?
I mean, that ground chicken and ground pork. I think you got ground chicken and ground pork.
Ground chicken and ground pork? Ooh, I don't know. Either one, I guess. Either one. Quen 3.8 is the latest one. How big is Quen 3.8? The largest, so Quen Max, Quen 3.6. Most recent release is a public review. I just want it to be light. I just want it to be super lightweight. Doesn't have to be the smartest. Just like make reasonable decisions. So 1.6. Okay. 1.7 billion. How big is that? When 0.6 also supports switchable thinking and non-thinking operation. It's appropriate for classification, identifying obvious contradictions, selecting which memories are relevant, producing short, structured critiques, and testing a mixture of the expert's contract. Gemma 3 provides, I think I want to do Gemma. So your recommendation is Quen 3, 1.7 quantized. Run it asynchronously as Sentinel logos. Use 3 0.6 first only when you want the smallest possible integration experiment. How does Quen 3 1.7 compared to Gemma? It's my question. Should like
Yeah, I'm forking ground chicken. What's your going?
pair skin. Oh, just super again. Quinn 3, 1.7, Gemma 3 represent ultra lightweight, efficient. Bro. Ultra lightweight, efficient small language model architectures optimized for resource constrained environments like mobile devices and edge computing. Quinn 3 1.7 stands out for its dedicated hybrid reasoning thinking mode, the exceptional magic performance for its size. Be important. That might be important. Whereas Gemma models such as Google's compact E-series variants prioritize native quantization awareness, stability, and multimodal integration.
Oh, great. Actually, we do have the over here. We have the leaf pads. So if we want to reconstruct the leaf pad into any possibility, this pronunciations, leaf pads.
Oh, sure. Let's see that.
Yeah.
Which one you take out?
I got. Oh, this is ground pork and ground chicken. Somebody said take out. Pan that's too much. Ground pork, ground chicken, and there's beef patty burgers.
All right.
What's that now? What's in the oven? Can I get some bread? Yeah. Ground pork, ground chicken.
Uh, Um, how big are both? Gemma 3N leans on Google's quantization aware training to maintain robust generalized accuracy under heavy compression. Though lower parameters variants can carry a large real-world footprint depending on the exact build. Features a specialized reasoning thinking profile mode inherited for larger models, distillation pipelines achieving high ranks on STEM and math benchmarks like Math 500 relative to its tiny parameter. All right. I say all things considered, I don't really care. Like as long as it works. Between these two, Gemma and Quen. Now what is the size of both? Do you even know what I'm talking about? So, 5 billion and 8 billion. 4.7 billion parameters. Which one is faster? How about that? Okay, so Quen will be 1.1 gigabytes, which is pretty good. That's pretty good. And then Gemma, 2 gigabytes, also pretty good. It's pretty good. If I can just put these locally, then I don't have to pay for DeepSeek anymore. Can I just run these locally? Models. Alright. Okay. 1.1 gigabytes is pretty good. I guess It will have to come down with which one is faster. Comes down to which one is faster. Which one is faster? Is significantly faster. Well, that's the one. It's lighter and it's faster. Well, that's the one. And raw generation speed due to much smaller parameter footprint. However, the total road time you wait for your final answer depends on entirely on Quen 3 is running in its thinking reasoning mode. Depends entirely. Okay. I mean, you could probably do both. We could do thinking for a more complicated task and reasoning, like super fast reasoning for simple decisions. Okay. All right. I think I'm going with one. All right. Okay. Sentinel logos. I don't know if I know. I want that. Sentinel Plato. Sentinel Aristotle. Sentinel. Who's a really smart person? Newton. Sentinel Newton. Sentinel Einstein. Sentinel. Who's a really smart person? Tesla. No, Tesla is more associated with energy. Sentinel Newton. Sentinel Neutron. Sentinel. Less really smart people in history. Less really smart people in history. Sentinel Galileo. No. Sentinel Da Vinci. Sentinel Einstein. Sentinel Curie. Sentinel Tesla. Like 100 people. 100 smart people. Sentinel, Aristotle, Franklin, Alexandria, Thomas Jefferson, Bacon, Einstein, Newton, Galileo, Marie Curie, Hawking, uh, Turing, Sentinel Turing, the father of modern computing. That's kind of dope. Sentinel Turing. I don't know if that flows off the tongue. Sentinel Grace Hopper, Sentinel Darwin, Sentinel Darwin. No. Sentinel Archimedes, ancient engineer, weapon designer, mathematician. I think we found a winner. Sentinel Archimedes. Sentinel Oppenheimer. Sentinel Socrates, Plato, Confucius, Kant, Marx, Smith, Freud. Lousy. Lezu. I like Archimedes. All right, let's call him Archimedes. Uh, call the reasoning model Sentinel, Archimedes. All right. Okay. And then we're gonna go with Quinn.
Yay!
All right. We're gonna run Quinn as our reasoning model. It's really fast. It's really fast and it's really small. I don't need it to be Fable. I just need to run my video game. Now, the memory sentinel interprets sentinel packets, find causal errors, recognize dangerous resource patterns, request appropriate search step, produce valid structured output. It would be distilled from decisions and critique produced by other larger teacher model and evaluated against real outcomes. That's cool. Oh, God. Now, the memory model. A memory component should be called something like Sentinel Archive, Sentinel Chronicle, Sentinel Recall. Famous watches, watch brands.
That one's for me.
Sentinel Rolex, Sentinel Audemars, Sentinel Patek, Sentinel Omega, Sentinel Cartier, Sentinel Richard Mille, Sentinel Seiko, Sentinel Longinus, Sentinel Omega, official timekeeper of NASA and the Olympic Games. I think we found a winner.
Wow. Last one.
Call the memory model Sentinel Omega. Right. Recommended memory architecture, authoritative event ledger. Every meaningful real event is stored structurally.
Yeah, and then my getaway.
Does the memory model require a SQL database integration? Question mark. This is a source of truth, episodic memories, specific historic events, the player defender. And then on top of that, based on the conversations we had this week, we have to also add a coding layer to it because coding layers, models that like coding models are good at logical reasoning. So what I would hope would what I would hope is that the coding model could make the game self-evolve. So it can like create new parts of the world. Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Did I take that just right? No.
Paste the checklist computing section of error builds and SWOT, show tables, and describe intro tables, term. Sentinel Prime. They haven't stopped streaming at like 5. And which advice was successful, where it's but you're assuming that I'm even reading your advice. I can't even see your advice. Like all I want you to do is just help me to just control the enemies and stuff. Like I don't really care about your advice. Mm. So I don't care about the advice that you are giving me.
Uh-huh. I didn't want that.
I only want you to make the enemies more intelligent and run the the world, run the simulated world. So also explore adding a coding model to improve the world on each simulation. Simulation. All right. Let's see. There are usable frameworks, but they are generally memory layers, not standalone memory foundation models. Memo extracts, consolidates, sort and retrieves cellular long-term information as public architecture is designed to reduce the need to repeatedly send full conversation history to the underlying memory. It is a reasonable prototype for player preferences, NPC interactions, cross-session memories, and basic semantic retrieval. Graffiti is a temporal knowledge graph approach designed to preserve entities and historical relationships as they change over time. This maps particularly well to Nova factors from since ownership, alliances, damage of the structure, relationships that were true before but are no longer true. MEM GPT introduced operating style and this way Apache news information. What are y'all fighting about fries about? Stop fighting about fries.
Steve, give it back. What? It's on.
Titans introduce neural long-term memory, so the model detects itself, and it is designed to learn what to memorize at inference time. It is interesting research, but it's not the best immediate level of integration adopted routine. Changing or training the language model architecture itself, nah, too much work. There's operating system inspired hierarchy that moves information between fast limited context and slower long-term storage. Because you should design pattern of return what stays in the immediate prompt, what remains in working memory, what gets archived, what should be retrieved later. Temporal, I don't know. Help me to make a decision on which memory model to integrate and would work best with the established MOE system.
Nice.
Recommended build a custom Sentinel archive system, but use existing technology for its components. Custom practical for stack would be SQL event ledger, vector retrieval, temporal relationship graph, small memory extraction model, deterministic outcome linker. Mem0 or Graffiti can accelerate the prototype, but Zegnova's authoritative memory format should remain yours. Okay. I accept your recommendation, ChatGPT. Explore building. Mem0 or Graffiti. Lightweight retrieval model embedding Gemma is a 308 primary embedding model designed for simple retrieval on everyday devices with configurable embedding dimensions and quantized deployment support. It could retrieve similar historical colony states, related faction interactions, pre-recommendations, past outcomes, relevant player behavior patterns, actual facts remain in the database. The embedding model only helps find them. How memory and reasoning work together. Current state, player wants to build a second habitat. Oracle runway will fall sharply. Habitat population growth, higher growth. What it produces depends on the power structure that previously habitat or followed. Energy collapse, build habitat, track faster. The memory model did not choose power. The reasoning model did not choose power. It supplied evidence and the testable constraint. Prime confirmed the final action through simulation. where the diffusion model belongs, the diffusion should not participate in strategic voting or receives actual committed game states, camera, geometry, depth, object, identities, materials, weather, persistent visual facts. It then renders the scene. Memory can help visual continuity. Okay. We can call the memory model. Mm. List famous artists, obviously. List famous artists. Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Rembrandt, Artemisia, Caravaggio, Van Gogh, Claude Monet, Cassatt, San, Degas, Picasso, Dali, Carlo, Matisse, O'Keeffe, Warhol, Basquiat, Kusuna, Banksy, Herring. I like Warhol. Sentinel Warhol. I don't know if that's good. Sentinel Banksy. I don't know if that's good. Sentinel Dolly. Sentinel Picasso. I mean, you instantly get the visualization with Sentinel Picasso. Sentinel Van Gogh, Sentinel Rembrandt, Sentinel Michelangelo. I like Sentinel Picasso. Sentinel Picasso.
Here, who's the lemons of this one? Oh, there's a chicken head here. Oh, there's a piece of chicken head. Oh,
Name the diffusion model. Sentinel Picasso.